Dan, it's great to have you here today. For those of us joining, I'm Gabriella Koenig. I'm the Director of Marketing North America at Payhawk, and joining us today is Dan Osburn. He is the Chief Payments Officer at Payhawk, where he leads banking, cards, compliance operations, and several other of the core functions that power Payhawk's global financial infrastructure. He also serves on the board of Payhawk's regulated financial entities in the UK and Lithuania. Before joining Payhawk, Dan helped scale one of the most important companies in the modern card infrastructure, Marqeta. He scaled it from 20 million valuation to a $16 billion IPO. His career has focused on building the underlying systems that make modern financial products possible. Dan, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Gabriella. Great overview and introduction. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And so today we're going to talk about something that sits right at the intersection of payments infrastructure and financial operation. Why do finance teams often have to wait until close before they really trust the numbers? What's happening behind the scenes during the month?
The reason they're waiting to close, the reason finance teams often wait until close to really trust the numbers is that a lot of the underlying activity is still being finalized during the month. Behind the scenes, transactions are still coming in from card programs and bank feeds. Receipts are still being collected and transactions are still being categorized and reconciled in the ERP. So even if a CFO can see most of the spend, parts of the picture are still moving. From a leadership standpoint, that creates a confidence gap. Finance may have a directional view, but they know the number could still change once everything's fully reconciled. That's why the process close still matters so much. It's the point where the system converges and finance can say, yes, these numbers are final. That's the core limitation of the traditional model. Finance is being asked to guide decisions in real time, but the underlying workflows are still designed around finalizing the numbers after the fact.
How much of that delay actually comes from the way corporate card programs were originally designed?
A meaningful part of the delay actually traces back to how corporate card infrastructure was originally designed. When someone taps a card, the transaction is authorized instantly, but that's not the same thing as the transaction being finalized. Behind the scenes, it goes through batching, clearing, and settlement across card networks and issuing banks. This is what actually moves the money. In most systems, that process takes 1 to 3 business days before the transaction is fully settled and visible in downstream systems. In other words, what looks like a real-time purchase to the employee is often a delayed data event for finance. And it doesn't stop there. Once the transaction appears, finance still has to attach the context: receipts, categorization, policy checks, and reconciliation in the ERP. Until that work happens, the number the CFO sees is still evolving. So the delay isn't about accounting discipline, it's structure. The underlying card infrastructure was built for settlement cycles and statement periods, not for real-time financial visibility. That's why finance has historically trusted the numbers mostly only at close. It's the point where the delayed transaction data and the operational cleanup finally converge into a complete financial picture.
What changes when finance teams can see card transactions in real time instead of waiting for feeds, statements, and cleanup at the end of the month?
I think the main thing that changes is the timing of when finance understands the business. In the traditional model, finance spends most of the month reconstructing spend after the fact, waiting for the transactions to arrive, collecting receipts, categorizing activity, and reconciling everything before close. The financial picture only becomes clear once the cleanup is finished. When transactions are visible in real time, that work starts revolving itself the moment the spend happens. Context is captured earlier, transactions are categorized earlier, and reconciliation happens continuously instead of only at the end of the month. And when you combine this with the AI back office, agents that automatically collect receipts, categorize transactions, and attach the right context, much of that administrative work that used to happen during close is handled in the background as spend occurs. For a CFO, the real impact here is confidence. Instead of working with numbers that are still settling, finance can see a far more stable picture of spend throughout the month. That allows finance to answer questions sooner, flag issues earlier, and participate in decisions while they're still being made, not weeks later after the books close.
Why is being able to do that on top of a company's existing corporate cards such an important unlock for finance teams?
I think because for most companies, the corporate card program isn't just a payment tool. It's tied into the financial structure of the business. Those cards are connected to credit lines, banking relationships, rewards programs, and treasury management. Changing them is not a small operational decision. It can affect liquidity, vendor relationships, and how the company manages their working capital. So historically, finance teams faced a trade-off. adopt new spend tools and require switching cards, or keep the card program that works for the business, but stay inside legacy workflows built for delayed visibility. What's changed is the infrastructure. With Payhawk Link and Control, you can connect your existing corporate cards directly into an AI native spend management platform. That means finance teams get real-time visibility combined with an AI suite where agents capture context, categorize spend, and reconcile transactions automatically, delivering 99.7% zero-touch ERP reconciliation, all without replacing the card programs already embedded in the company's financial infrastructure.
How does that kind of visibility change the role finance can play inside the company?
I think it changes finance from being a function that explains results to one that actively helps drive them. When visibility is delayed, finance naturally operates at the end of the process, reconciling what happened and reporting once the books are closed. But when spend is visible in real time, finance can see the picture as it develops. That allows them to flag issues earlier, understand how teams are tracking against budgets for the month, and guide decisions while they're still being made. And that shift matters more than ever in the AI era. Recent research shows 68% of CFOs say their role is shifting from compliance towards enterprise growth leadership. This reflects growing expectations that finance will help drive strategy and investment decisions across the business. So real-time visibility isn't just an operational improvement, it changes the role finance can play inside the company. Instead of validating the past, finance can participate in shaping where the business goes next.
Dan, this has been incredibly insightful. I think the big takeaway is that finance teams haven't been passive by choice. They've been operating with systems that only show the financial picture after the fact. When you bring real-time visibility and AI automation to corporate cards companies already use, finance can finally see spend as it happens and participate in decisions while they're being made. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective today.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Gabby. That's exactly right. Likewise, really appreciated the time today. Thanks a lot.